bracelet to the mambo like a crazy with. Hey mambo, don't wanna tarantella. Hey mambo, no more mozzarella.
Welcome in, guys. Here we are once again with a bit of a Serie A roundup with Sean himself. Sean, welcome back, sir. How are you?
Very well.
Sporting your down the local t-shirt as well. Love that. Love that.
I'm dressed for the occasion this time.
Yeah, and and I've inadvertently as well. I probably could have put the Milan one up, but the Juve t-shirt, the Juve top is there in the corner as well.
Loving that.
Yeah.
Up the Bianconeri.
Up the black and whites, or the white and blacks, actually, as it is. But yeah. So, Sean, what's been occurring in Italy?
Well, I mean, all across Europe, we've had the whole Super League bullshit to contend with, and it's been no different really in Italy. Obviously, with Andrea Agnelli of Juventus kind of being one of the main exponents of it. He's been fighting for this for quite a long time, and was one of the very first ones to kind of really spew out about having a league format for the Champions League. We're talking like 5-6 years ago, as much as that. The reason being is, frankly, Juve are shit in Europe. They've got to finals and bottle it every time. So I think I can't remember how many. I think there've been 7 finals and 1-1. I think in the history of the Champions League. So Agnelli thought maybe I can do something here to flex my muscles and bend it in Juve's favour. So fortunately, sucks for him. The people spoke, and that's all gone to pot. So he's left with egg on his face, and they're obviously talking about him stepping down and this, that, and the other. But I think he's pretty well entrenched there, so I can't see him going anywhere anytime soon. Yeah,
there was something that came out the other day, wasn't there, where he said, "Well, it's one of the best ideas that football has had, but it's a pointless exercise with only 4 teams." Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, but Juve financially aren't in the best state, are they? Really?
Oh no! Lots of clubs across Europe. You know, I mean, we're talking Real Madrid have reported losses of crazy amounts, and
Barca
like 400 million or something. You know, in recent times. Same with Barcelona. I'm sure once the accounts come out for Manchester United and Tottenham and Arsenal, they're not going to look very good. Obviously, Man City and Chelsea will look fine, but hey, no comment.
It's interesting that there were, bearing in mind the main front runners for this, people pushing it seemed to be coming from Italy and Spain, yet there were 6 teams from the Premier League in it. It certainly looked as though they were trying to generate a bit of a cash cow for themselves and maybe get in on some of the Premier League funding and TV money that comes their way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that probably had as much to pay with it. I think it probably had more to do with the JP Morgan, the bank that were funding the whole thing.
Yes, okay.
I'm sure that a big investor is going to want to pay for the teams that bring in the most revenue, the likes of your Manchester Uniteds and your Liverpools, which are probably the biggest draws across Europe, along with Real Madrid and Barcelona. So not only across Europe, but worldwide. So of course, Juventus are going to want to piggyback off of that, and so Inter Milan and AC Milan, these teams that probably aren't as well recognised globally as those teams.
Yeah. I thought it was quite interesting that obviously Schalke were the only team in Germany to accept an offer, but it makes you wonder how many other teams got offered first. And PSG allegedly turned it down, but then also said yes because their owners said we'll probably get fan backlash, but we don't care. So, but then said we turned it down anyway. It was very bizarre setup.
The whole thing is just really, really, really bizarre. The whole thing, it kind of all of a sudden exploded on Sunday, and it's now Thursday while we're talking, and the whole thing's dead in the water. So, very bizarre for something that's been going on for years and years and years, and obviously wasn't very well thought out. So
it's almost like they were still trying to keep it under wraps, and it accidentally came out because it just, as you say, it doesn't seem as though it was overly well thought out and planned very well. Almost like the announcement, someone's leaked it and they've gone, well, actually, let's jump in front and tell everyone we're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's fallen apart but quicker. But you say it's been around for sort of 5-6 years. I remember 15, 20 years ago, even longer than that, they were talking about European Super Leagues at that point in time. And that's when UEFA then were increasing the Champions League sizes and things to try and sort of negate any issues.
Yeah, I mean, I see good sides and bad sides. I'm not actually sure, and maybe you can clarify this, how the Super League was going to work, because as far as I understood it, it was going to be an alternative to the Champions League. They actually
Only
pitched the
for those
idea to the
clubs.
Champions League and they rejected it,
Yeah.
which I'm sure everyone's going, well, of course they would, blah blah blah, but I think people need to realise the Champions League is probably one of the biggest kind of money grabbing exercises going in Europe.
Yeah.
They talk about how fantastic it is that these little teams from Latvia and Lithuania and places like that can compete in this big tournament, and
Yeah.
good for them and blah blah blah. Well, actually, hang on a minute. They have to buy their places into this competition, so and I'm sure there's a premium to pay for that. Is it a wonder why Denmark doesn't get 4 places into the Champions League? Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because they can't afford to buy 4 places into the Champions League. So
Yeah, exactly.
actually, doing something else is probably not a bad thing. But do you know what? The majority of people got sold this idea that they were going to buy an island and go sit on that, and we wouldn't be allowed to watch them play again, and all this lot. And I don't know. I think it got shut down before really the details got to come out of what could have been actually something quite interesting. But
I think it definitely had some degree of legs. I don't think it's the last we will ever hear of this idea. I think the premise of it, they were definitely doing it to try and generate cash, because they were saying about games being played, taken to far-reaching places like Dubai and China to play the matches. Yeah. They were saying the matches were going to be midweek games, and that the teams in the teams would still contribute and play within their current leagues, but the chances are they would be more backup teams, reserve teams playing in those leagues. And I think that's where a lot of it kind of kicked off, because fans won't ever see the best players apart from on TV. And that's not what they're there for. And, I think one of the best things that's come out of it is that weasel, Ed Woodward, has buggered off from football completely. He left Man United, left UEFA, and left the ECA. Everyone's a winner.
Exactly, Piss off doing your bank job, mate. So
exactly.
Anyways.
So in the top of Serie A still, Inter Milan.
Yeah, no surprise really. I did call it quite a few weeks ago, if you remember, Neil.
Yeah, you did. And that gap has just become bigger and bigger, hasn't it? What have they got left? 6 games? And
6 games and a 10-point gap at the minute, and they've been able to kind of take their foot off the brake, a little bit now, and they've drawn their last 2 games. A draw against Spezia yesterday was fairly routine, frankly. And in all fairness, to be, Inter's last sort of 10 games have not been great. They've done what they've needed to do. A real sort of Conte side in that respect. I did say Conte, not another C word. But really kind of grinding results out and getting 2-1 wins here and there, 1-0 wins, and just doing enough. And I think that was always going to be the case. Lukaku's goals have dried up a little bit, but he's still getting the important goals and doing the important things. So I think they're pretty much nailed on. Milan sat in second once again. They're overachieving this season. Winning games, drawing games, losing games. They're doing enough, and I think they deserve to be in second, ahead of a fault-ridden Juventus. So, who I think could end up slipping out of the top 4, but I'm sure we'll come on to that a bit later.
Yeah. And I mean, we also know that this is obviously being recorded on Thursday for Saturday's charity show. We know that there are 2 games happening tonight, which features 4 of the top 7. So Roma are at home to Atalanta, and Napoli are at home to Lazio. Atalanta sat 4th, Napoli 5th, Lazio 6th, and Roma 7th. Atalanta have got a game in hand. They win that game in hand, they go second.
Mm-hmm.
Lazio have got 2 games in hand. They win both of those games, they will go second if Atalanta don't win. And Lazio is 6th. That's how tight it is up that end of the table at the moment.
So like I said, Juventus sat in 3rd, and those 2 teams, if they win their games in hand, will go above Juventus, and they will be out of the top 4. So
yes.
And they were 1-0 down against Parma yesterday. So, they don't look good at all, Juventus. The form, shows, 3 wins in their last 4 games, but they're not looking good at all. Still a very incohesive side under Pirlo, and not making any progress. The only positive thing they've had in recent weeks is that Paulo Dybala's now back fit and starting games. That's
Right.
the only positive. So, and once again, watching the game yesterday, the only players that have looked sprightly as they have done all season are the likes of your Cuadrado,
Yeah.
your McKennie. De Ligt looked okay at the back.
Yeah.
But that is really it. No one else is, obviously apart from Kaiser, who's been on, superb form recently. No one's really looking good for Juventus at the minute. So, my tip of the day would be to put a pound on them finishing outside the top 4. Only a pound.
Yeah.
Don't go give away too much.
But betting is not.
I'm not going to give it back to you.
Betting is not condoned. Even though I have noticed that in my background, I seem to be sponsoring 888.com. When the fun stopped.
Stopped. Yes. So is that was on the back of the Juveshirt.com?
Yeah, probably. That is it.
You
Yeah.
had to turn it round. Okay.
Exactly.
Well observed, guys. As I say, obviously so there's massive implications for the games tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
A win for Lazio over Napoli is massive, absolutely massive. So, and looking at the form guide, Lazio and Atalanta are the 2 most formed teams at the minute. So,
yeah,
I really thought Roma would kick on. I said it on the last show. I thought that they would kick on and get into that top 4. Atalanta have been doing superb all season, and I just thought they're going to maybe just run out of gas towards the end of the season, but they've really kicked on. They look a superb side, absolutely superb side. They put Juventus to the sword in a 4-1 win in the last game week at the weekend. So we're excellent, absolutely excellent. So they're looking good. I think, as you say, I'm not sure in what order. I mean, I could definitely say Inter are going to finish top, but I think Atalanta and AC Milan will finish in the top 4. But that last place, I'm not quite sure. I could not say.
Okay. Well, you've probably got a little while to make that decision, because we will come back to this, and we'll put you on the spot where you will need to say. So you're going to have a little check on it. But looking at that, you've got obviously at the moment, as you say, Lazio and Atalanta, the 2 form teams, both have won all 5 of the last 5. Obviously, you were saying that you thought Roma would kick on and make a move for that top 4, but actually they're one of the worst form teams in the whole of the division at the moment.
3 just superbly inconsistent. Yeah, superbly inconsistent.
Yeah. But 3 losses from their last 5, only a win and a draw. The teams at the bottom have got better sets of results at the moment.
At the moment, obviously, apart from Crotone.
Apart from Crotone and Parma. Yeah.
Yeah. And Verona are not looking too good at the minute. So, but, they're mid-table. So
they're safe. Yeah.
They're one of those teams that just sat there in the midst of all of it. They've got nothing to play for. They're not in a relegation fight. They're not fighting for Europe. So they're just one of them teams. It is what it is. I think they're sort of treating this as a bit of a pre-season almost, at the end of this season. So.
And Verona probably start their season with a target of let's get this amount of points and be safe. And when they hit it, they're happy. They're not Verona aren't a team that are going to ever really be up there challenging. But by the same token, if they can stay in the top flight, it's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. And they have got it in them to be one of those teams that could possibly kick on a bit. We've seen Genoa do that in recent seasons. Kick on and start fighting towards those top 7-8 places. In the same way Fiorentina have done, Sampdoria have done over the last few seasons. So Udinese, of course, and Torino. But so I think Verona have got that in them. But for seasons to come, they still need a few players that can really light the league up. They're full of just real kind of middle of the range, your consistent performers. They haven't really got a spark in that side, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look down at the bottom end of the table. So we're saying it's tight at the top. It's actually starting to get pretty squeaky bum time down the bottom as well.
Yes, big time. Big time.
Fiorentina sat in 13th at the moment on 33 points. But with the same record currently as we were just saying about Roma, they've lost 3, won 1 and drawn 1 of their last 5. Now, there are teams below them with games in hand, and they are actually only 5 points above Cagliari. And Cagliari did win their game the other day against Udinese. So...
yeah, and not only did they win against Udinese, the game before that, they played Parma.
Yes.
in what could be the game of the season, which was a 4-3 win for Cagliari,
Yeah.
which I think all but shattered the confidence of Parma, who, as we talked about kind of in and around, the January transfer window, had thrown a bit of money, thrown a bit of shit at the wall and was trying to see what stuck. And it looks like not a lot is sticking at the minute. So
No.
Once again, they really capitulated once Juventus got a goal back yesterday, and it's been like that all season.
Yeah.
As soon as they get, their backs against the wall, they crumble. So, and it's much the same as saying that Cagliari game. So that's, I think, really, really, given Cagliari a massive, massive, massive confidence boost. And it's no surprise they went on to win their next game against Udinese.
Yeah.
They have another game, and then I believe they play Benevento, who are above them. So if Cagliari can win their next one and then beat Benevento, then they look pretty tasty for staying up.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, there's a 3-point gap, between them and Benevento. So that could, it's a 6-point of that game. If they could close that gap, they could be on equal points, and it could come down to goal difference, which Cagliari's is a damn sight better. So
yeah. So Benevento's next game, Benevento play Udinese next weekend, or at the weekend, and Cagliari play Roma. Now, if Roma lose to Atalanta tonight, going away to Cagliari is not going to be something they are keen to do.
No, definitely not. As I say, once again, Roma, much like the players that they have in their team, you like to your Mkhitaryan's and Pedro's, just inconsistent. Just don't turn up for games, and then we'll turn up on the next game, and then don't turn up on the next. They've really missed Dzeko. Obviously, the transfer thing in the summer really did unsettle him, and they've missed him big time this season.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that's there. So just quick look through. So we had Fiorentina, we got Genoa and Spezia, all on 33 points. Although Spezia's goal difference is significantly worse than those guys, and also significantly worse than Torino's, who are one place behind them, on 31. As you say, on Benevento's goal difference, minus 27. That's hideous.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, it's not good, but then again, it doesn't look bad against Parma's minus 33 and Crotone's minus 42. So, this is, not very good, but it's not the worst. But I think it's remarkable. Torino sat in 16th with a minus 8 goal difference.
Yeah, I agree. And it was very interesting when we were looking at the Bundesliga the other day that actually only 5 teams have a plus goal difference. It was really bizarre.
Yeah.
Which just shows... Right? Yeah. And I mean, here, at least it's kind of balanced in Serie A, where you look at it and the top half of the table are all in plus and the bottom half are all in minus, bar Sampdoria.
Yeah, sat in 9th on minus 3. That's the only...
Yeah. And Verona
caveat, really.
and Verona are on equals. But that's it. That's how you'd expect it to be.
So right in the middle. That's where,
yes,
it's quite funny. But then you obviously get the little anomaly, as I say, of Torino sat in 16th or minus 8. But then again, that's because Torino just been, we've talked about it on every show, they are the king of the draw. They love a draw, they do, them boys. So
Yeah. 6 wins, 13 draws and 12 losses. So they obviously, when they get beat, they make sure they don't get absolutely turned over.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Cool. And obviously, we touched on the Cagliari. Parma, you said, bless them. As soon as they concede a goal, they capitulate. You can see that. Parma,
yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been ahead in so many games this season.
Yeah,
so many games, been 1-0 ahead and conceded a goal. Had the willy set up them, not literally nil, and that's it. Just fallen apart and gone on to lose the game.
Yeah. And then we have, I'd like to say, the plucky Crotone, but they are the crap team of Italy. Based on, I mean, they're the Sunday League team, man. They played 32 games and conceded 80 goals. That is the sort of thing you expect on Sunday League. 15 points.
I like plucky. I like plucky. I like that. Like the little kid that always joins in when you play a game and you runs around like a little Yorkshire Terrier and and never gets the ball, but you sort of, oh, bless him. At least he's trying. Bless him.
Yeah,
that's how I describe Crotone.
Yeah. He's the kid that you think, oh, do you know what? He's tried really hard. He's not kicked the ball. I'm going to roll it across the goal for him to tap into an empty net. and I'm going to go and celebrate him and celebrate with him, make him feel like a bit. Then he misses, and you just want to put your head in your hands and go, "Don't come again."
Don't bother.
Cool. Okay, so that is the league wrapped up. We will be back with Sean very soon to have a look at the players and get his predictions on what is occurring. Back in a bit.
Hey, Oompa! I love how you dance, rumba. But take some other vice, paisano. Learn how to mambo. If you're gonna be a square, you ain't gonna wear. Hey, mambo, mambo Italiano. Hey, mambo, mambo Italiano. Go, Joe.
So, guys, we are back again with the ill behaviour. Player time. We've looked at the league for Serie A. Let's have a look at the players and see what's occurring with them. So, top scorers, Cristiano Ronaldo, still ahead.
Yeah, our old mate, Chris Ronald. And like we were just saying, obviously, in the break, got most of those from Alvaro Morata's air shots by the looks of it. So
yeah, Morata with 9 assists. I can't imagine their crosses or anything like that. All I can imagine, he's nodded it down for Ronaldo, or he's fluffed his lines and Ronaldo's tapped it in.
I mean, in all fairness, to give Alvaro Morata a little bit of credit here, he is quite good at running the channels for Juventus, and a lot of those have come from he's managed to break the offside trap or whatever and just square it for Chris Ronald. So or at the right place at the right time, as you say, with a header or whatever. I mean, Morata started off the season extremely well and has gone off the boil. So, but that's it. He's not done anything spectacular with that.
Yeah. Obviously, big Romu, Lukaku still in there, 21 goals for Inter, having another good season for Inter Milan. Does the Italian league just suit him really well?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, he can really sort of... he's such a clever striker. I think it kind of went underrated really in the Premier League, which is more about your physicality, which he was a physical guy, but he was so good with his movement. And it's why it didn't work at Manchester United, because they just expected him to be, be a pacey number 9. And that just wasn't his game, I don't think. So in Serie A, some of his play is just outstanding. It's so clever. His link-ups with Martinez, Barella, even Ericsson towards the end of this season, it's been phenomenal. He's just absolute class. He's probably the best, certainly the best in Serie A, all-round striker, and at the minute maybe the best in Europe. Yeah,
and when we talk about sort of that physicality, it's still there, isn't it, for him in Italy, where the defenders are rough and ready, but they're physical in a different kind of way. They're sly. And they're not used to having a striker who will happily give it back.
Yeah, but the thing is with Lukaku is he has got pace. It's a few times this season he's just stripped centre-backs for pace and just pulled a finish out of nowhere, he like I say, I think he is the best all-round striker in Europe at the moment. Once again, I just think the Serie A suits him. I really do. It is tough defending there. It's always been known for that. I think the defensive side of Italy's football is phenomenal. That's why it's so enjoyable to watch. But I think he enjoys it. I think definitely Big Rom enjoys playing there.
Yeah, and I mean you can tell the defensive side, as you say, is always been key in Italy, and you can tell by the virtue of the age that some of the centre backs go on till. I mean, Maldini's still playing at 40. You had the guy at Sampdoria years ago, Viekovod, was still playing for Sampdoria in the top flight of 40. Cannavaro was still going at sort of late 30s. You've got at Juve now Chiellini. You had Baresi. Barzali, when he retired a couple of years ago, was at least 35, 36 as well, wasn't he?
I think,
So these, they know how to defend. They have that little bit of pace when they're younger, and when that goes, they've been trained so well that actually they don't need the pace. But when they come up against someone like Lukaku, as we say, that little bit of physicality and pace becomes an issue for them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you don't see as much the kind of gung-ho type of football in Italy. For that reason, with the sort of older defending, the slightly more astute defending, they will sit back a bit and keep compact, and it's all about formation. It's more of a chess game than your likes of your Premier Leagues and your Bundesligas. Spain's just all attacking football, and the defending's atrocious.
What defending?
Exactly, it's just embarrassing. Honestly, you have to watch from behind the sofa, kind of peering up over, some of the clangers that you see over there.
Pretty sure Sergio Ramos is just a deep lying forward. Just deep lying.
He's barely a forward, he's barely a footballer, to be honest. So he's a bit of a twat. So you're welcome, Coop.
Coop will be happy. So in third place at the moment with 18 goals, we have got Luis Muriel. Now I know that he's not a fructus or a squeezy tubey yogurt. Luis Muriel. At Atalanta, and as we were saying a minute ago, Atalanta have been on some rich vein of form, so you'd imagine those goals ain't going to dry up anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a surprise that he is up there. Luis Muriel is well travelled, not really hit it off, in different clubs, always kind of threatened to be a top striker. I think it was a bit of a surprise when he ended up at Atalanta. But as a stellar season, they've forgotten all about Duvan Zapata and obviously Papu Gomez, who moved on. I thought they would certainly miss him, and he does bring something. But Muriel's been knocking the goals in, and Ilicic has kind of been chipping in with the assists and scoring goals too, and looking class at the same time. Yeah,
and then we have a surprise. So someone new, Simeon Tokachuru Nwankwo. Known to his friends as Simi. We're not his friends, but we'll call him Simi because it's much easier.
Thanks, Neil.
At Crotone. Bottom of the table, Crotone. Now, we were having a quick look, and they have scored more goals than a lot of teams in the bottom half of the table. But having one player on 17 goals, and, Crotone haven't been in any sort of form. They've lost their last 5 games, but he's obviously been picking up goals. And we weren't even aware of him, really, were we?
No, I mean, I think, you never kind of remember the losing team. That's the thing. And Simi's gone about that down at Crotone, who, they're going to go down. There's no two ways about it. But it's one of those ones that just creeped up. Really, you kind of look at the top teams, and obviously there's the battle with Chris Ronald and Romelu Lukaku for that. For the name forgets me for the Golden Boot. But they're battling out with that, and you kind of forget about some of the teams down the bottom, and and you look at the younger strikers who we'll come on to in a moment. Obviously, there's a young striker at Fiorentina. So Simi's gone under the radar. He scored, I think we talked about it, he scored 11 goals in 7 games. But only one of those games Crotone went on to win. The rest of them they lost. They lost 4-3 and 3-2 and 3-1 and things like this. So you can understand how he's gone under the radar, really.
Yeah. Nigerian international, 6'6", so you can imagine where most of his goals have probably come from. But I'd hate to just say that because he's 6'6", he's good in the air. Peter Crouch will not thank me, although Peter Crouch won't know I said it. No, Peter Crouch won't know I said it, so it's not a major issue. But 6'6", only played 4 games for Nigeria. Was at Crotone last season when they got promoted, and scored a decent amount of goals for them then as well. Previously, with my boys, Gil Vicente in Portugal. Yay! He didn't do very much over there, I'll be honest. But
blame the manager.
It must have been pre-me, pre-Bajie, PB. So we'll move on to someone that we do know. Ciro Immobile, Lazio, 16 goals. Hasn't really scored much since we last talked in the last sort of 4 or 5 games. I'm pretty sure he was on around 15, 16 then.
My fault on that one. I touted him to go on and once again chip in with those goals and propel Lazio up the league, but it's not quite happened. Sorry, Chiro.
Yeah. And I still think that is such a great name for a striker. One of the key attributes you need to be is mobile, and apparently he's immobile. I still think that's brilliant. I love it.
I know, such a lovely play on words. The things you can only get from football.
Yeah, and normally foreign football, because there's not anyone going to be like that in England. It's just great. I love it. Anyway.
Actually, hang on. Wasn't there a player called Tubbs?
Tubbs?
Yeah, his surname was Tubbs.
Matt Tubbs. Yes, there
Tubbs,
was.
see?
Yeah, played for Crawley. Yeah.
Now, don't you go telling me he was a pacey winger.
No, he was a striker. He was a short striker. Scored a lot of goals, but yeah. Oh,
Tubby
Matt
little striker.
Tubbs.
There we go. So
What a ledge. Oh, nostalgia. Dusan Vlahovic.
Yes.
So this is the young striker you were saying, yes? I'm assuming.
Yeah, been linked with Manchester United in recent weeks and months, like every young player across Europe.
I was going to say, hasn't everyone?
Yes, exactly. So, well, not everyone, but most of them. Talked about as being the next Zlatan, like anyone who scores goals and is quite tall, apart from our mate Simi. But yeah, they reckon that he's going to do big things, and he's apparently very Zlatan-like in his attitude as well. He's a bit of a pompous, know-it-all twat. So
right, fair enough.
So it might be worth keeping an eye on. But then again, look where Fiorentina are in the league. So I think he will end up probably being another one of those that maybe doesn't go on to do anything.
Maybe a bit of a Nelson Oliveira, someone like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I try to think of like your Nicholas Bentner when he first came through. Everyone thought, well, he certainly thought he was going to be something special.
Not everyone. I think
it's quite clear for everyone else to see that he was limited.
Never going to happen. Yeah.
So, similar with your likes of Carlos Vela.
Yes.
Who else have Arsenal had that have been like that? I'm not here to bash Arsenal. Sorry, I'm really on Coop's back out. I say, sorry, Coop.
Coops is already upset. You've already slandered.
I've dissed his boyfriend Ramos, haven't I? So.
Yeah, you've already beat up Ramos. So.
I wish.
Assists. We have got a big group of players on 9 assists and a big group on 8. So we obviously touched on Morata and fluff lines and knock-ons being a contributor.
Right place, right time.
Yeah, to a lot of his assists. Juan Cuadrado suddenly shut up there, considering he plays right back most of the time, but kind of an overlapping right back. He is a winger, isn't he? Let's be fair. I can imagine he takes
very adventurous right back.
Takes a lot of dead balls as well, I can imagine.
A few out wide, not a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, okay. So 9 assists from there. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Romelu Lukaku. Now, this is the weird thing. So obviously Simi and Vlahovic have come into the top scorers list. And it's Lautaro Martinez who's dropped out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, Lukaku has still added a couple of assists, but Martinez obviously hasn't scored because I know he was on 14 goals from recollection when we last spoke. So he hasn't scored in the last 5. Is he playing? Is he fit? Is he injured? Do we know?
I believe he has been playing, but he's more runs to channels. Once again, similar to Morata, Martinez isn't really a number 9. Played out wide. You've had Eriksen kind of come into favour and in the team.
Yeah.
And Inter Milan are superb at having runners from midfield as well. Your Brozovic's, your Vidal's, your Barellas. You've also got Sanchez as well. Alexis Sanchez, who's played quite a bit this season. Amazingly, somehow his knees have kept together. They haven't exploded yet, and there's just shards of cartilage flying out everywhere. So he's been chipping in with goals as well. So when he's played, usually he'll come on as an impact sub, and of course, big Rom's out there, and he'll just lay it on a plate, similar way in what Morata was doing really for the likes of Sanchez. And he also got Perisic has been chipping in with goals, and who scored last night. So it's always those ones. I know you've spoken about it in the past. As a striker, you should be expected to also be not only your top scorer but also your top assist giver, because you are at the pointy end of the stick on that one. So you should be the one laying it on for players who are maybe in better positions than you.
Yeah, depending on how the team plays, you should be top of one or t'other at least.
If not both.
If not both. Next up, my boy, pleased that he's fit again and playing and doing well and doing his bits. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, great player, got the assists. Again, I know he is a set piece taker, so there will be corners and free kicks and things like that he's teed people up for. We touched on Federico Chiesa earlier as well. You were saying, he's having an outstanding season at Juve. He is now up there as well with 8 assists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly given kind of the pre-season thoughts on his signing. Once again, not a big fan of his. I know you've said you've watched him play a few times and not seen anything that maybe made you think, wow. But having a really good season and one of the few bright sparks in that very, very flat Juventus side.
Yeah. And as we said before, he's got a lot to live up to, with his old man being an Italian legend, Enrico Chiesa.
Yeah.
And at the moment, he is seemingly doing it this season at least. So
He's doing really well. I mean, he's the thing is just that watching Chiesa, he's got loads of pace.
Yeah.
Loads and loads of pace. He's got pace to burn. But you watch a lot of players like him who've got all this pace and just run into cul-de-sacs or try and do a little flip-flop or something and just, and fall on their ass and just don't do anything. But he's had end product this season, and not even just assists. Some of his goals this season, I mean, obviously, when Juventus got knocked out against Porto, he scored all three of Juventus's goals in that. And and was superb goals as well. Really, really great goals. So yeah, he's once again, it's one of the surprises of the season, I think, definitely.
Brilliant. And then next up, we have Milan's attacking midfielder, Hakan
Çalhanoğlu.
Him. So
you're welcome.
Yes. Again, another one who we know is a dead ball specialist, and this is a recurring theme actually. When you look at it, it's the wingers or the dead ball guys, which you kind of, I suppose, you'd kind of expect. But as we said, you've got Morata and you've got Lukaku, but then after that, there are no other real out and out strikers in that top list. I mean, I know Josip Ilicic has played a bit further forward since Papu Gomez went, but he always used to play a little bit deeper initially, didn't he? So, but yeah, Hakan has been picking up those assists, dead ball specialist. From when I've seen him, very good on the ball. Swans around though. Yeah,
a lot. Yeah, definitely. He's he's your equivalent of Roy Delap, really. He's got a bit of a party trick, but doesn't really offer anything else. Frankly. I'm not the biggest fan of Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and that, once again, talk of him coming to the Premier League and to Manchester United, and I just think that's a bit of oversight on that one.
I think he is what was referred to 5-10 years ago as a luxury player, and in the Premier League you can't have luxury players anymore.
No, not anymore.
Jack Grealish was a luxury player, and look how he's had to change his game and the improvement it's made. He's not going. Hakan's not going to do that if he comes to the Premier League. He's already 26, 27. Someone will be.
Look at Mesut Ozil and how he's had. He's been fallen from grace really. Was absolutely fantastic at Arsenal in periods, but the Premier League moved on, and like you said, they couldn't really carry these flashy players who your Berbatovs, your Cantonars even. Cantona probably wouldn't cut it in the Premier League nowadays because he just, he's not that type of player no more. The league has changed, the culture's changed, everything's changed. So,
interestingly, Henrik Mkhitaryan is up there with assists. As we were saying about Roma as well earlier, very hit and miss. And Mkhitaryan has got the eye. We said, I think, on a previous show as well, has always had that eye for a pass. And if he's got someone in front of him who will put it away, Mkhitaryan's always likely to be up there on the assists. But another one who just doesn't really offer anything on a consistent basis.
No, not consistently. And it goes to show there was no Roma player in the top scorers. So once again, his assists, they're assisting different players and there's different types of assists, which you've got to give him credit for. But he definitely blows hot and cold, like the whole of the Roma team, frankly. Yeah.
We sort of touched on Josip Ilicic as well. 8 goals. Obviously playing slightly more advanced, as we say now. Papu Gomez has got
one hell of a player.
Very, very good player. Moussa Barrow, who I knew playing for Bologna, but I don't get it. I don't think he's very good.
Just quick, puts a ball in the box and lets everyone else do their thing. That's and sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. He doesn't really do anything some seasons. Then some seasons he has a good season, and I think it's just a very winger-esque attribute to be inconsistent. And he's hit some consistency this season. I don't think he'll continue to do it for much longer.
No, and he's at Bologna on loan from Atalanta.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird bit is there has been talk of Real Madrid being interested. So, strange things happen in the world.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, but they did sign Thomas Gravison.
That's true. They did. And then you have got at the bottom from Atalanta again, Ruslan Malinkowski.
Yeah.
Malinovsky, sorry.
Yeah.
Malinovsky.
Once again, having a good season. In the height of his form, really. I think he's 28?
27, yeah.
27. So, yeah, in a very good Atalanta side. Another very good player in a very good Atalanta side. So, it's just surprising not to see some more players, pop up there. I think Robin Gosens was in there for quite a bit, who's a wing back for Atalanta.
Yeah.
He was in there with the assists. And
yeah,
I can guarantee you when we look at that at the end of the season, that'll have changed. And there'll probably be a different Atalanta player in there because I think there's a lot of them that are probably sat just below that top list on a fairly healthy basket of different levels of assist.
Yeah, cool. Okay, we're not going to touch on the yellow cards. We are going to very quickly say red cards. I like it because there are two people with more than one red card, which is great. We have got Rodrigo de Paul at Udinese, and from what I've seen of him, he is a dirty bastard. Yeah, so I like that he's in there because he lives up to it. And then we've got a Cagliari, someone that I will really not want to fancy saying, Charalampos Licaria Janius.
Him, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude.
Good job of that. I'll give you that.
I'm pleased with that. What I should have done was check Wikipedia first because he's known as Babis, and that would have been so much easier.
Oh, Babs. Yeah.
Greek international at Cagliari, 2 red cards this season. Is a midfielder apparently, or left back. So obviously just likes to go carnage and break people.
Likes to boot people up in the air. So
exactly
when Rajan Eindergelen's not doing it. So
exactly. So. Red cards done, players done. Sean, tell me who is going to make the top 4 with the Champions League. And I'll be honest at the moment, if you haven't seen, Atalanta are 1-0 up and have moved into second place as things stand. So, who is going to make the top 4? Who is going to make 5th place for that guaranteed Europa League spot? And who's going down?
Oh, you don't ask for much, do you, Neil? Well, I did. I mean, like I said in the previous segment, it's guaranteed Inter are going to win. I can't see them not losing, and I feel AC Milan have got enough to stay in that top 4. They're currently sat in second, obviously 10 points behind Inter. But I think even though they are kind of a bit inconsistent, AC Milan, I think they have got enough. They know they've got enough to play for, and they've got a super squad of players who I think will come good and be enough to get them through these next 6 games. So I definitely say the 2 Milan clubs will be in the top 4, and definitely Atalanta. In once again, rich vein of form in a crunch game tonight against Roma.
Yeah,
1-0 up, spanked Juventus 4-1. I think that once again they're on the crest of a wave. They've got, like I said, the assists coming from all over the pitch. They've got the guy who can put the ball in the back of net in Muriel, and Ilicic chipping in with plenty of goals too. So for me, definitely those 3.
Yeah.
In 4th, like I said, I mean Juventus currently sat obviously 5 points from 5th place, but I think that they are going to slip and slide like a slippy slidey thing. So I'm going to make the bold call that they finish outside of the top 4.
Yeah.
And they finish in 5th.
Yeah.
And that they will get pipped by Napoli.
Oh, so Napoli are going to go on a run then. So Napoli really need to beat Lazio tonight then in the other game.
So I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the cooking next door, but I can smell that I think Napoli will get a win tonight and Lazio will have a wobble off the back of that. I think that they'll fight a bit too hard in those last 6 games, try a bit too hard, go a bit gung-ho in games and end up dropping a point instead of gaining a point or whatever. Yeah. And I think that they will struggle. So that is my prediction, and I look forward to being mocked for being wrong in the next show.
So Inter, Atalanta, Milan, and Napoli in those top 4 places, and Juve finishing 5th. Going down, we already know Crotone dead and buried.
yeah, there's once again the plucky little Jack Russell with our mate Simi. They're going to go down. So are Parma.
Yeah.
Guaranteed Parma are going to go down. Cagliari, who are currently in 18th, they will stay up. I believe that they have got enough about them. And they are hitting form, hitting stride, and their fixture list looks pretty tasty. I am going to say that the other team to be relegated will be. Well, I mean, it's not going to be them, but I'm going to say Fiorentina. I'm going to go really out there. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it.
Throw one right out there. Fiorentina.
Yeah.
In the last 4 games, Fiorentina are going to drop from 13th down to 8th. You heard it here first. Sean himself has said Fiorentina are going down. The magical purple, the beautiful colour shirt.
La Viola.
Made famous by Nintendo and Batigol.
Oh,
down.
Batistuta.
Yeah. Down. How they could do with Batistuta now.
Now they'll probably try and get him back in a shirt, to be fair. Okay, my thinking behind that is fairly irrational. I think Genoa look pretty solid. Spezia look good. Torino just draw games. They don't lose. And Benevento are going to go down, but I'm just going to say Fiorentina purely for the shits and gigs. And basically, if you think I'm wrong, subscribe to the Bajie 79 channel. Yeah,
there we go. Benevento, to be fair, you could see they're only 2 points behind. So you could see Benevento. It's only 1 win, isn't it, in that situation? Cagliari are on a bit of form as well. So definitely opportunities there for those guys and for Cagliari to stay up and for Fiorentina to go down without cocking up financially.
Dan. Yep.
Cool. Sean, as ever, a pleasure to have you on, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We will catch up again on another. What we will do is another end of season special roundup. So sort of a 4-week time, where we will see how the predictions were, and do a full roundup on each of the leagues we cover, and then we've got the big stuff going on for the Euros. But keep them peeled because that stuff's all to come. For now, though, we'll go back to me live time somewhere, maybe sober, maybe drunk. It's going to be quite late by the time this airs.
Mamma mia.
Have fun. Arrivederci.
Ciao, ciao.